Okay, hello YouTube. This is a very quick and crappy intro to my new tutorial using my iPhone. I just thought I'd show you guys my little studio area. Haven't got a proper studio at the moment, still in a bedroom type thing. So just a very quick tour, show you what I use to make my music and stuff. That's my PC, and it's got quite a nice case. This is my nice 27-inch Samsung monitor, which is quite cool. A little power pyramid there to help me. KRK headphones, the KNS 8400s. They're quite nice headphones to have if you haven't got proper monitors, which at the moment I don't because I haven't got the room for them. iPad, bit of necessity really. JV1080, which is quite nice for doing sort of random sort of stuff. A couple of Novation racks that I bought off of eBay, which were pretty cheap. The A Station, which is like a virtual analog polyphonic synth, which is alright, don't use it that much. This one I actually just got today, which is the Base Station, which is actually analog. So that's actually quite a cool little rack. It's quite simple, but you can get some really cool sounds out of it. And that will be the basis, pun intended, for a bit of this tutorial. Another screen, obviously you need two screens. Got sort of M audio, 49 key, laptop. Now, I've got Ableton and stuff running on both. The problem is, I haven't done many tutorials recently. I don't know why I'm still bothering to talk through this shitty camera, but I haven't done many. Oh, hello. I haven't done many tutorials recently because when I use video screen capture software, I want to capture my microphone and I want to capture the sound of Ableton, but I can't seem to do that. The software doesn't want to do it. It doesn't want to pick up. I've got my little M audio over here. It either wants to take audio out of sort of just the computer audio, the speakers, which is, or the speaker main built-in sound card, which doesn't include the microphone. Or just the microphone and not the actual Ableton sound, so it's really difficult. So what I'm having to do is, in a minute, when I shut this off, I have to do a line out from my sound card that goes into my laptop. I'm going to have to record the audio for the tutorial separately in Ableton on my laptop, have headphones coming out of my laptop so I can hear everything, but talking into the microphone, which then goes into the sound card, which then goes into my main computer, and then have to sync it all up again at the end, which is really fucking annoying. But I'm motivated today to do it, so okay, let's crack on. Okay, hi everybody, Elements here, back on the proper screen capture type stuff, not the iPhone. I did just try and record this, but it didn't work. I only recorded for like 8 seconds, so we're starting again, funny enough. This tutorial is sort of twofold. Firstly, there's some sort of bass dynamic stuff. I made a little, quite a simple rack in Ableton to beef up your bass lines a little bit. You can apply it. I mean, I've basically recorded in some bass from my Base Station. How many times can I say bass in one sentence? And I've beefed it up a bit with some effects that I've put into a little rack and saved as an electro bass rack preset now. So I'm going to go over that, and also just sort of knocking together very basic for beginners sort of electro loop using Xfer samples. So mainly it's about the bass stuff, but there's a few bits and pieces we can go over. So I've got this recorded in bassline. You might recognise it. It is decided to do a dead mouse bassline just because everyone must love dead mouse that watches my channel, because that's all that's on my fucking channel. So it sounds a bit like this. Yeah, it's maths or something close to it anyway. I did actually do the MIDI here and then recorded it in just so it's, working and the base station doesn't blow up or something during tutorial, in my luck. So really, that's the raw sound from the bass station. I mean, it makes other sounds, obviously, but that's sort of, you know, the main sort of building block from the bass station rack. So what I've done, just to beef it up a bit, got a few plugins. First one, Aphex Vintage Exciter, or Vintage Aural Exciter, is a Waves plugin. It's highly worth getting because you can use it across the board in production. You can put it on mastering channels, you can use it on drums, vocals, and it basically just brings sort of a kind of high-end crispiness, sort of like that glossy sort of excited sound, and adds harmonics and does all sorts of clever stuff. So I've found a preset called Dynamic Synth, and I just tweaked it to this settings. I'm not sure how, but you know, I just listened to it until it sounded good. And the difference it makes is this. So it really adds like a bit of sparkle to the bass, even though there's not that much high end there. Gives it a little bit more of a, you know, a bit more of a kick. Sort of makes it a bit sparkly. I've added an Ableton multiband dynamics. Turned off the mid. Or did I turn off the mid? No. Turn the mid down a little bit, minus 0.7 dB. Turned the high frequency up a little, 1.8, and then boosted the bass frequency sort of 7 dB or so. And that really makes a difference. And then without. That's amazing. Without, if you don't hear these effects and you're mixing and you think, oh, that bass doesn't sound too bad actually, it's pretty cool. But once you put these effects on and then you try listening to it without them, it sounds shit. And you realise how much you need to sort of tweak. Even, I mean, the bass station isn't a world-renowned analog synth or anything. I'm not saying that. You know, I can acknowledge if you've got a Moog or a Prophet or I don't know, you know, a Jupiter 8 or something, then that'll probably sound pretty fucking hot, straight into the box. But if you're not quite that rich and, you know, have these sort of little eBay sort of synths and stuff, a lot of the processing that you can do in Ableton or whatever sequencer, you know, you can really make these sounds a lot better than they are. You know what I mean? So again, if you take off the exciter and the dynamics and have a listen to that, just the single bass, and then we add the exciter and dynamics, just beefs it up. Last thing I've added, this is another Waves plugin, but you can use, you know, find a good reverb plugin that you like, that you get on with. The Waves stuff is brilliant. It really is very good. If you can afford to spend the money on Waves plugins, I really would. You know, any day of the week, because they're just so professional, and they can make anything sound, well, not anything, but you know, they'll make your production sound a lot more polished. So what I've added here is just a reverb. Again, I found a plate, I think it's, or a spring, yeah, our chamber, okay, chamber, bright chamber. Played about with this, turned the wet amount down to sort of like almost nothing, played about with the time, so it gives like this sort of nice, it's almost like a sprung reverb, but it's that I kind of class that reverb sound as synonymous with electro kind of house, electro sort of synths and bass lines and stuff. If you think like old school Benny Benassi Satisfaction or whatever. It doesn't. I'd like to point out that I didn't make this to try and sound exactly like Maths. It's just like an example. So
you know, before I get people going, oh, it doesn't sound like Maths, it's not a very good remake. It's not a remake. Okay, so just to clarify that, because it obviously doesn't sound that good. So that kind of covers what I've done to affect the bass, the raw bass sound, and make it sound a little bit, you know, a little bit more pro, or close to pro, or amateur, whatever. So we've got this beat as well going on. If I just solo that stuff out. Again, not really much to say on this. There's not much of a tutorial. The section, the bass bit is mainly what I wanted to say. This is all Xverse stuff, analog kicks, loops, etc. Just to show. Yeah, I need to not solo tracks so that the voice doesn't come through. So just to show what we've got going on here, and then I'll play it all in context and sort of show you what that sounds like. Kick, percussive. An effects crash that sort of, you know, carries on. Nice little effects sweep as well. And just some claps. I didn't really spend a lot of time on this. It was just to make, you know, I was basically just pissing about with the bass station, and then I did the bass stuff and thought, oh, that might make a bit of a tutorial, but you know, whatever. We'll see. I probably won't get that many views on this one. So altogether we got this little demo thing that just sounds a bit like this. And that's without all of the bass sort of effects. And then with so yeah, pretty simple stuff for some people, hopefully. I hope, you know, just these sort of little bits here. I have never really before thought about putting much stuff onto bass lines, like putting loads of effects on or anything. I always just thought, find a good bass on a synth, whatever. Yeah, that'll do, you know, compress it maybe, add a bit of EQ usually, something like that. But you know, multi-band dynamics, that can help. I've never really thought of using that on just a bass line before. The Aphex I got quite recently and just love it. Again, play around with different reverbs and stuff, and you can come up with some cool little effects that don't really change the sound dramatically, but add, you know, just those little polished bits that sort of elevate a little bit above just the standard sort of brr, brr, you know. So yeah, that's about it. I'm not going to bore you any longer. Thanks for anyone that's subscribed to YouTube. Thanks for anyone that's given me likes on Facebook. I love it. I like getting messages on Facebook. I'm still replying sort of semi-daily or maybe once a week now because I'm bored of it. But to people asking for like the Velt and the Professional Griefers tracks, the project files, I'm still sending those out to people. Kind of working on newish stuff and demos and things and whatever, but I'm quite busy with work, so I don't get hardly any time really to do that sort of stuff, which is a shame. I'm also sort of thinking of having a few different names for different types of music, but you know, I might do some dubstep stuff, maybe some progressive dubstep or something, and also some prog house, electro house. Too much fucking stuff to do, seriously. And I always end up just spending all my time looking on eBay for what sort of synths and I can buy, and deals on like old shit that just is going cheap or whatever with knobs falling off. But anyway, yeah, I digress. Thanks for watching. I will try and do some proper tutorials that are actually useful soon, and I'll catch you all later. Oh, and if anyone plays video games on either Steam, Xbox or PS3, I'm a massive gamer and I love fucking games, so just get in touch with me on Facebook or something and we can play games and stuff. Alright, laters.